Chairman Grassley, Ranking Member Wyden, distinguished members of the committee, I am honored to appear before you this morning and grateful to the President and to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin for recommending me for the position of Assistant Secretary of Legislative Affairs. I am conscious as I sit here of the great responsibility and privilege that being nominated for this position represents, and I am humbled to stand in the company of those who have served in this role before me. I am grateful to be joined this morning by my parents, David and Veronica McGuire, who made the trip from Albany, New York to be here. Without their generous support and example of service, I would not be sitting here this morning. My father moved to Capitol Hill after graduating from college in 1958, but almost immediately returned home at the urging of his older brother to, quote, get a real job. He went on to spend nearly 4 decades as a public middle and high school principal in Albany, New York. I often reflect that I am living vicariously the life he dreamed of when he moved here 61 summers ago. My mother, meanwhile, spent nearly 3 decades working full-time as a secretary at Albany's only VA hospital. True partners, together they raised 4 children on a tight budget, making many sacrifices along the way for each of us. They will be married 55 years next month. I'm also grateful to be joined by my sister, Anne-Marie, who also made the trip from Albany, the oldest of my 3 children, Stella, who's playing hooky from music camp to get a civics lesson this morning, and by my wife, Ashley, an author and native Coloradan, whose encouragement and many sacrifices have made it possible for me to consider a return to public service. I would like to take a moment to thank the senators and staff who have given of their time to meet with me in preparation for today's hearing and to share with me their priorities and concerns. If I am fortunate enough to be confirmed, I pledge to continue the dialogue we have begun and to be as available and responsive to members and staff from both parties in both chambers as I can possibly be. As a former Senate staffer, I believe I am uniquely alert to the perspective, demands, and deadlines of senators and their staff, and I commit to you this morning that if confirmed, my door and my mind will always be open. It is my sincere intention, if confirmed, to spend far more time listening than talking, and to be an accessible and dependable source of prompt and honest feedback. In reflecting on the decade I spent working in both the Senate Republican Leadership Office and in the personal office of Leader McConnell, I can't help but acknowledge the debt I owe to him. I cherish the memory of my years in both offices and am grateful for the mentorship and the opportunities that Leader McConnell gave to this native New Yorker in the midst of so many other pressing responsibilities, and I'm grateful for his comments this morning. Treasury is a special place with a storied past and a vital role in ensuring the growth and stability of an increasingly complex domestic economy, in reinforcing our nation's central role in the international financial system, and crucially, in developing and aggressively implementing complex policies and strategies to combat terrorist financing and financial crimes both here and around the globe. I have long admired the work of the department and the many remarkable career and non-career professionals who have carried out this complicated work and who have brought their creativity to bear on the various crises and challenges of our day. As a graduate student in Manhattan in 2001, I watched as Treasury grappled with the post-9/11 order, and as a Senate staffer in 2008, I watched from a slightly closer vantage point as Treasury wrestled with a terrible financial crisis that few saw coming. If confirmed, I cannot promise to bring the same intellectual gifts as many of these heroic public servants, but I pledge to bring the same seriousness and sense of purpose to my job that so many others have brought to the department before me. Thank you again for your consideration. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Greaves.